Another Hunter x Hunter analysis. How creative. Another Gon analysis. Can't wait for him to say the same old things. Another YouTuber trying to leech off Hunter x Hunter. Hey buddy, Alexander beat you to it 10 years ago. By now, most Hunter x Hunter content is archaic or exoteric. If not Alexander, you can find a lot of analysis and discussion simply on Reddit or Twitter. Hunter x Hunter is one of those series where every chapter is so rich that it will be talked about for years upon years to come. With that being said, the most challenging part of this video is without a doubt trying to say something new. I want to be new, but also correct. Hunter x Hunter fans are parasites that will attach to your body if you get a single piece of evidence wrong. With that being said, throwing my hat into the ring of Hunter x Hunter content, this video will be my segue into that side of anime analysis. Gon is my favorite Hunter x Hunter character. This has not always been the case, however. For years after watching the anime, I echoed something many people think. Gon is one of the worst parts of Hunter x Hunter. I genuinely thought Gon was a boring character, and him being the MC was a bad idea. When I said this on TikTok or Discord, people agreed. Only when I read the Hunter x Hunter manga, I saw the light. Not only did I realize Gon was a good character, I realized he's the best character in the series. Gon is a good character when you are looking at the right spots. Funny enough, you don't have to squint. Just adjust your eyes to his darkness so you don't get blinded by the light. Wow, Gintama reference by the way. First things first with Gon is to recognize who he is. Is he some 17-year-old kid with the power to kill anyone just by knowing their name? Is he some violent kid who forgoes his morals all for a selfish dream? No. Gon is simply a kid. That's all he is. Togashi uses Gon's literal child intellect in position to make him an amoral agent. He looks at life unambiguously and looks at things with a lingering curiosity. Me or you would hear our friend murders people for a paycheck and would judge that as instantly bad. However, Gon does not. Some of these wild behaviors have made people think that Gon is something of a psychopath or sociopath. While you could potentially argue him fitting inside this spectrum, I profusely disagree. Basically, Gon's own childhood nature molds and also confuses his moral compass. He sees good people and good things, but simultaneously is puzzled at evil and the negativity of the world. The core facet here is that there is an intrinsic right from wrong he notices. He simply forgoes parts of this knowledge as the world becomes more intricate and complex to him. Not at all was that me trying to admonish Gon's action. Gon is fully responsible for his moral decisions. Even more, Gon is responsible for his decisions in general. Most of these decisions are made selfishly with the intent of bettering himself. People have thought of Gon as a psychopath and etc. simply because of his very weird moments. He lets 2 serial killers off the hook simply because they were help to him in making him stronger. This is because Gon is a selfish hypocrite. Gon goes about life with how he feels and what's worrying him. He cares about the evils of others when it negatively affects his friends, but strangers, they're free game. Go ahead, bro. Even then, when strangers are involved, he will actively use them to get a personal advantage over others. This ideal of selfishness in Gon is expertly shown in one of the best arcs in the series, Greed Island. Not only will I dive into this entire arc at some point, this showcases Gon's entire character in a very fascinating manner. Gon seems to be aware that his method of hitting the dodgeball is actively hurting Killua to the point of incapacitation. Does Gon care? Does Gon change his method? Does he show any empathy? He just apologizes, then moves on. He takes advantage of Killua's mentally ill type of codependency for his own gain. This is another angle to what makes him a hypocrite. He cares about his friend's safety and etc., but not when it can directly benefit him and his goals. Naturally, we have all these moving pieces together with his morality, selfishness, and indignation toward anything stopping his own goals. These pieces are all intimately structured within his key motivations and motivators. This, of course, being his father. Gon being on the hunt for his father, who is a hunter. This makes Gon the Hunter Hunter. Every aspect of Gon's character is intrinsically connected to him meeting Jing and working toward this goal. Early in his life, Gon was introduced to Kite, in which he was told firsthand about his father and the truth of his circumstance. Kite told Gon that Jing is a first-rate hunter and one of the best in the world. Kite says to earn his approval, he must find him. This one piece of dialogue between Kite and Gon spawns 2 different necessary talking points for his character. character and later character development. The first being, this sees the thought of needing to be someone special to meet Jing. Kite is this incredible hunter, yet concedes to Jing. Jing left Gon in order to follow his goals and is now leaving Gon to follow in that same path and goal. This spawned huge self-worth issues within Gon's psyche. Gon believes he has to be someone, do something to be worthy of meeting his dad. This is why he acts so selfishly and wants things to be done in a specific way. He can't take any cheap shots or shortcuts because that will only prove that he is not ready or good enough. One of my favorite panels in the series is when a pro hunter sees and compliments Gon's Nen ability, only for Gon to think to himself he is only closer to him by getting stronger. He's getting closer to Jing because he's getting stronger. Once again, I think Greed Island showcases its development especially well across the entire story. This brings us to one of Gon's most contentious and ironically best moments, his crash out against Piso. People have levied this as a weak moment in Togashi's writing to essentially have him go apeshit because of Kite. Kite is someone he knew for like 5 minutes 4 years ago, right? It doesn't make any sense to go so crazy over someone you never really knew like that. The reason why this is actually amazing and inventive writing is what Kite represents for Gon. As we established, Kite was the first thick layer for Gon meeting his dad. For all intents and purposes, Kite represented Jing to Gon. By not being strong enough to save Kite, let alone fight alongside him, he failed his mission. He's not good enough to meet his father after all. And all those feelings of self-worth and abandonment veer its head when confronted with the reality that he's simply not strong enough. This is what makes this moment so impactful. It showcases how crazy he really is, but also showcases the tragedy of his character. A kid with a lot of rage and selfishness, all of that lines his core motivation to meet his father and prove his worth, just like Kite tried to. Even more since he is Jing's son. Only when meeting Jing, Gon can put down these nebulous and trite feelings and truly appreciate what he has and how far he's come. It's not a coincidence or any stroke of luck that he learned the main message of his journey and subsequently the story after talking with Jing. We all know that Gon is eventually going to meet Gyro. We don't know the details nor the actual direction. This was a story development promised by the writer. Currently, Gon is catching up with being just a regular kid. His journey isn't over, but just taking a small break. The greatest part of this new Gon is his new look at the world. He views detours just as valuable as the destination. Even more, he holds himself as a regular person, free to make mistakes, free to learn and grow, and free to be himself.